Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is another Lost in the Pond reaction, and this one is 5 unshakable habits I've picked up living in America. And surprisingly, I've never seen this video before. I've gone through like his most viewed ones, but obviously I haven't seen this one before. Um, I mean, I enjoy his videos anyway, and I'm just working my way through them. And yeah, I just enjoy his reactions or reacting to his videos, to be honest. But yeah, habits that he's picked up in the US. What sort of things? What sort of topics would this be on? Like, I guess like I don't know, things that people do in the US that you don't really do here, but then when you go there, you understand why they do it. I don't know. We're gonna see, right? But hopefully, you're going to enjoy. Quick shout out to my Instagram, my Twitter. Links in the description to those interested. I'm probably traveling when this video goes out, so yeah, I'm back from Scotland now. I've just came off a 12-hour trip on the train, and I'm probably fast asleep actually. If this is the late upload, this will be when I've just got home and I'm fast asleep. But yeah, I'm probably quite sad because Scotland's been nice and I don't want to go, but it is what it is. But yeah, let's just get into this one. Quick shout out to my Patreon as well. Links were there for those interested. Did I say Instagram? Instagram's there for those who care. I mean, yeah, let's just jump into it, man.
Tomatoes, 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 tomatoes. Yep.
I knew you was gonna fucking say.
Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to habits. Specifically, habits that I've picked up since moving to America. And just to clear up any confusion, this is not a video about how I ran away to a convent and became a nun. That's a separate video. No, this is a video about little things that I do habitually every day that I didn't do when I lived in Britain. And because a long-standing habit of Uncle Toby is to hammer away on his keyboard right after my videos, I want to preempt him by...
What habits are like typically American? I don't know. What is a habit? Like for me, a habit is like biting my finger, like I always do in videos and stuff. Or when I'm nervous, I'll bite my nails or whatever it is. That's a habit. Stop
I'm sorry
popping
you're
up.
going through this.
Oh, Siri, you're driving me crazy. You drive me absolutely crazy. And when I say its actual name, it doesn't pop up.
This video does not include habits like leaving socks around the house, because quite frankly, I've done that my entire life. Plus, that's universal, and I know that because men do it throughout the entire universe. The entries in this video were heavily inspired by American culture. And so with that in mind, here are 5 unshakable habits I picked up after moving to America.
Morning coffee.
I'm going to let you in on...
Okay, well I guess that is here as well. My sister does it. A lot of my family actually drink coffee in the morning. I just like tea. Morning coffee is a thing that happens here. Maybe it's just more common there.
Little secret. When I lived in Britain, I never once drunk a cup of coffee, except for when I was 1.5 years old, and that was bad for everybody, especially my parents. Now, I don't want to get carried away and suggest that we don't have coffee in Britain. We do. It's just that when I lived there were 2 factors at play. Number 1, tea was more popular, and number 2, per capita, Americans drink way more coffee than the British. It should be noted, of course, that the United States is by no means top of worldwide coffee consumption. After all, people in Nordic countries drink 3 times as much, which frankly is absurd.
What?
Nonetheless, even though coffee consumption has actually increased in Britain since I left, presumably because people need it as a coping mechanism, coffee is still more prevalent in...
I've never gotten the coffee bandwagon. I don't know why. I used to occasionally drink it, but when I sometimes get like mochas, which is like chocolate, but like it's got like coffee in it, right? I think they have like mochas, or however you say it. But I've never drunk. I don't know. I've never really been into drinking coffee. But it's one of those things that everyone drinks, and I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't drink it.
United States. And I really started drinking coffee because all of my work colleagues were doing it, and I didn't want to feel left out. Before I knew it, I couldn't stop. And that might sound to you like an addiction as opposed to a habit, but here's where the habitual nature of coffee drinking comes in. I've made it a habit to drink coffee as soon as I wake up. And I need that just to compete with my cat, because when I wake up at 5 a.m, usually in zombie-like fashion, I'm always struck by how he's up and about like it's nothing. Here I am accidentally pouring coffee into my cereal, and he's already had breakfast, cleaned himself 3 times, and fought off an imaginary mouse. But coffee isn't the only thing I picked up in the workplace.
Corporate jargon.
Like any other country in the world, America has languages within languages, and one of those languages is corporate speak. And arguably, no country on earth is more fluent in this language than the United States itself. Oh, sorry about that. Looks like I accidentally muted myself. What I was saying is, can you hear me? What I was saying is, I got another email today from Martin saying we need to touch base about those SOWs. And I still don't know what an SOW is.
Oh, it's like slang in the workplace and just stuff like that. I assume that's what it is. All these little short term, what SOS, what did he say? Touch base on the what?
We need to touch base about those SOWs.
Yeah, SOWs, kind of, I guess stuff like that.
And I still don't know what an SOW is. To me, an SOW is a female pig. And as somebody who worked in American office environments for the better part of 7 years, I've picked up this lingo through osmosis. So you'll hear these phrases that you'll never hear outside of the office environment, such as, can we circle back? Let's touch base. Can we get our ducks in a row? You know, unless you work for a veterinary service or the parks department, you're not going to be doing anything with ducks, much less getting them in a row. I know this is just an idiom, but at the end of the day, ducks are just going to do their own thing, so it's better for your productivity if you leave them alone. Same goes for CBT, because I know now that it stands for computer-based training, but previously it meant cognitive behavioral therapy. So we just need to spell things out.
I mean, I can't really say, because I've never worked in the workplace, to be honest, so I don't really know. Keeping my cat inside. Wait, is that a habit? I mean, I thought cats are always like left out to roam and stuff.
To those of you who've never lived with a cat, I feel both deeply sorry and envious. But if that is you, there's probably one thing you don't know about indoor cats. They're constantly trying to escape. Why do you always do this when I have to go down and get the mail? What, you did get off my hand? He's trying to turn my hand so that the hand turns the doorknob. He's so smart. In America, they're much less likely to be successful because, on the whole, Americans prefer to keep their cats indoors.
Really?
In Britain, sometimes it feels like there are more cats on the street than dog feces. All that to say, when I moved to the United States, I thought nothing of letting the cat out of the flap. But then I saw something weird. I watched as a cat got run over by a truck, and it just happened that behind that truck was a police officer, and he stopped his car, got out of it, saw me and my wife frozen in horror like this, and he just picked the cat up by the tail and dumped it by the side of the road. And in that moment, I had an epiphany. If one of my cats got flattened by a truck, I wouldn't want them to have such a demeaning burial. Or to be flattened by a truck. I mean, let's be clear. And so now, every time I leave the house, I have to make sure the cats aren't following me. They're indoor cats. They're not going anywhere. They're staying put. There's actually just the one cat these days. The other one died of kidney failure.
Oh. I was going to say it got run over.
Our Prius.
Fuck's sake.
We'll be kidnapped by cyclists. Do you want that?
Fuck's sake.
Oh, he's got out. He got out. I didn't mean for that. Come back in. When I lived in Britain, I had a habit of forming communication with other people in a way that didn't put them out. So I'd go out of my way to say things in a manner that couldn't be perceived as confrontational, tagging statements with questions like, would you mind if I, or would it be possible to? And after years of living in America, I've learned to get straight to the point, my videos notwithstanding. Hello, yes, I'd like to order a delivery, please. I'd like a 6-inch on Italian bread, teriyaki chicken with American cheese, toasted. Well, my wife gave me the number. Is it? Right, okay, well, I'll let her know. Thank you, sorry about that, yep. Bye. Yep. That was the Chicago Public Library. And it doesn't mean I've become rude or anything like that, because the Americans that I speak to in this manner speak to me in the same manner. And also, being direct doesn't mean you shouldn't use phrases like please, or thank you, or bless your little cotton socks. It just means getting straight to the point. No, that's fine. And then could I just add green peppers, onions, and tomatoes, and that's it? Tomatoes. Tomatoes.
Tomato.
Tomatoes. Tomatoes.
The disappointment in his eyes.
Yep. And while we're on the subject of placing orders, that brings us on directly to our final.
Would that actually be a thing? If I was like in the US and I was talking to someone and I said it like that, would they just not understand it? Would they? Is it just like just a joke about? I assume they'd still understand what you're saying, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure people would, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I'd be surprised.
Entry.
Tipping, yeah.
To Americans, tipping might seem like an
I mean,
odd
no, that's not a bad habit at all. That's a very good habit to get into, to be honest.
entry to have on a list of habits. But for me, it had to become a habit because growing up in Britain, you're not expected to tip the bar staff or the waiter. In America, because those workers rely on those tips for income, it is inconceivably rude not to tip. And how do I know that? Because I accidentally did that once. I was on a business trip in Westminster, Colorado, and I decided to stay up late one night and just have a couple of drinks at the bar. I struck up a conversation with the barman who had an interest in British culture, perhaps owing to the fact that Westminster, Colorado shares its name with Westminster, London, but that's not important right now. What's important is we stayed up for about 2 hours talking until I was the last customer in the bar. He went into the back to do whatever bar staff do in the back, and I took that as my cue to leave. And as I was on the flight back to Indianapolis the next day, it hit me. I never tipped him. And I still feel really bad about that. So if you're watching Barman from the Doubletree in Westminster, Colorado, this video is dedicated to you. No, you've been great. So one last thing. When I put a tip on the receipt, does that go to the delivery person or does that go to you? Goes to the delivery person. So could I send you a check? You personally for, say, 20% of this? Because, well, people think that I'm some sort of YouTube sensation, right? It's not my words, and I don't want to be seen to lack generosity. Yeah, I mean, you've got to put back a little bit, and I just feel it's the least I could do because you've been excellent. One habit that I'm really proud of is being thankful to my patrons who make these videos possible.
As always, man, I mean, that's for him. I don't know, I don't really get into this, but yeah, shout out to Lost in the Pond. If you're interested in this Patreon, if you're interested in this channel, you know how to get to him, man. Help him get to 300k subscribers. He's on his way there now. But I mean, yeah, it's going to be there very soon. Very, very soon. Tomatoes, don't you mean maters? Is that how you say it? As a British person, I legit thought that corporate talk was just used in TV shows for comedic effect. I had no idea that people actually talk like that. We've just got fewer outdoor cats in America because we have coyotes. Cats are like butterfingers to them. Oh, that's a good point, actually. That's a real good point. I didn't even think about it like that, because you've obviously got like other animals, like cats or dogs or whatever, like wild cats, wild dogs or whatever. That they will have dinner served on the plate if their cats will allow. I see. My cat isn't trying to escape, but that may be because he was feral before being rescued and he realizes what a sweet deal he has. Yeah, I fucking bet. We have coyotes and bobcats here, and they're quite efficient at killing cats. Another excellent reason to keep them indoors. I didn't even factor that in. It makes sense, though. It really does make sense. So there's nothing here that's going to attack a cat other than a dog. But I mean, if the dog's on a lead or whatever, it's not going to catch the cat. So I once watched the sheepdog competition where the dogs, in addition to herding sheep, herded ducks. They actually got all the ducks in a row. I subscribed 2 seconds in. But yeah, man, hopefully you enjoyed this one. Again, Lost in the Pond reactions always go down well, and I always just enjoy them. Got hiccups now. But yeah, more reactions like this, suggest what you want to see in future, and until next time, like, subscribe. Peace.